Somebody asked me earlier. He said he was asking me about something about history whiteboards. He said you always do whiteboards on history and how it relates to finance and stuff like that. Can you give me a historical example where capitalism went really wrong? Yeah, there's a lot of them. So I don't know what you mean by that. I promised you I'd get back to it. So when you I don't know what you meant by that. It literally, I'm not a defender of capitalism in any way. Like, just because it's the best system we have now, it doesn't mean well, it's not even the best system, but compared to the others that are available now, it's the one that works, I should say. Not even the best, it's the one that works right now. I'm not a defender of it, but I'm also, I understand, a lot of the downsides to it, but it's also, a system that is, the way it is, the way it works, and compared to the other things we have available now, it's the only thing that works, and you can, utilize it in your own way. But I'm also a big believer in not blinding yourself to anything. And it's like when people vote for against a politician, they end up worshiping the politician. Anything that politician says must be the truth, or if you're the opposite side, anything they do is bad. It doesn't matter if it's good, it's bad, right? There's no give and take. I'm very critical of things. And I'm very, very aware that there's a lot of downfalls and a lot of problems with the way it is. So when you ask me, can you give me an example of in history of where, capitalism went wrong? I mean, do you want one that was kind of like, I know one. Okay. No, that's probably too violent. Oh, Roman Empire, right? We all think about the Roman Empire every day. I got one. This one's actually kind of crazy. All right, here you go. I'll give you your whiteboard since you're asking for a whiteboard. All right, here you go. Here's a good example. Let's talk about when capitalism goes wrong. These are fun. I always love these, okay? The Roman Empire still exists. No, it's not an empire anymore. Italy exists, but Italy fell off, bro. I can do a whole whiteboard on how they allowed that immigration with the Visigoths, but allowed them to keep their weapons when they came in. And then they basically, from within, took down what was left of Rome because they basically... Oh, wait, no, that's probably not good with the immigration talk in America right now. The Roman Empire is Turkey, technically. No, that's the Eastern Roman Empire. Ah, see? Two different empires. Then there was the Holy Roman Empire, but whatever. All right, do you guys want me to do it or not? All right, here you go. How do I title this? When capitalism goes wrong. All right, so for all of you guys that are like anti-capitalism or, anti-billionaire or rich or eat the rich type of people, or, even if you're like a social democrat, whatever, I'm not looping everybody in, but if you're one of those people that like love to see when rich people get fucked over, this one's for you, okay? I got one for you. I don't care what your political belief is and whatever. I'm not here to defend anybody. I'm gonna give it to you all of it. I'll be surprised if most of you guys that are very left-leaning don't know about this story. If you don't, all of your content creators have failed you, okay? This is a great example. All right, Rome. Ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's talk Rome, okay? Let's go back to Rome about 193 BC. I think it was 193. Whatever, don't quote me on it. Rome, 193 BC, okay? Y'all ever heard of the year of the 5 emperors? There was 5 different emperors in one year, okay? It was a very, very, very tumultuous time frame in Rome. Like, it was really, really crazy, right? So Emperor Commodus, he's killed. He's assassinated, okay? All right, he's assassinated. He gets taken out. He's wiped out, unfortunately. And then this guy Pertinax, right? He takes over, right? And he's like the guy who's like the next in line, right? He's like, okay, there you go. We're moving on and stuff like that. He's out too. Okay, he dies too. So now there's this power vacuum. Okay, there's this power vacuum. Now, have you guys ever heard of the Praetorian Guard? So the Praetorian Guard. I think I spelled it right. Praetorian Guard. So this is the emperor's private army, right? Like, these guys are like they're basically they're private guard, and he's the one that they surround themselves with the emperor and all this other stuff like this and whatever, but they're like pay to play. They're very like almost like mercenaries. And so it's very important that the wealthiest people, at least the emperors are the wealthiest people, because they got to pay their guard, because their guard will flip on them. Okay, Praetorian, thank you. Okay, I'm spitballing off memory here, okay? So give me a break. So they're basically like the loyal to the highest bidder, right? So the emperor, that's why very wealthy people were there. They're able to pay them because the highest bidder is basically going to take them under their wing, and they can take out the emperor because they're the ones that are closest to the emperor. So it's pay to play, right? Capitalism, right? The Praetorian Guard is basically in control right now because they have they're the ones that are in the closest into the inner circle for the emperor, and there's no emperor right now. So guess what? The Praetorian Guard decides they're corrupt as shit, and they said, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna auction off the empire. Basically, or auction off the emperor position. So now the Praetorian Guard says, we're going to auction this shit off. Let's see who's going to pay us the most. Who's going to pay us the most? So 2 guys actually put bids in there. One of them is what's his name? Pertinax's uncle. So this wealthy guy who's Pertinax, its uncle, he is one of the bidders, and he's bidding it up. The problem was, though, is that the Praetorian Guard kind of like, there's rumors that they killed Pertinax. Others are saying that they allowed him to die. And the reason is that Pertinax wanted to like put discipline into these guys and like and make them less corrupt and stuff like that, and they didn't want it. And so they murdered him. That's how this position opened up. Some historians say that he wasn't murdered, that he was allowed to die or whatever. They killed his ass, right? Because they wanted money. So now you've got his uncle, and then you've got this other guy. And this other guy was just this like really wealthy guy, but didn't have as much money as a lot of people, really, it's kind of like, how there's rich people out there who are rich but have a lot of debt. Does that make sense? This guy named Didius, I forgot his last name. Julianus? His name's Didius. He comes in and he starts raising the stakes for the auction, right? And so he eventually agrees to 25,000 whatever the fucking currency was at the time, sesterces or cess, whatever, fuck, it doesn't matter. Basically, let's just call it 25,000 coins a soldier. So each guard member is going to get, he basically says, all right, if you let me be the emperor, I'll give you 25,000 sesterces. And that's the equivalent of like 5 years of pay. Because they only earn 720 of these a year on average. Or 750 or some shit like that, 700 and something. So they only earn that much. So they're basically giving them not 5 years, but I think it was, I can't remember. No, it wasn't 5 years. Doesn't matter, whatever. They 25,000 per guardsman, okay? And they usually get 7. So actually it's like, 10, 25 years worth? It was a huge sport. Regardless, it was a huge amount of money. So he comes in and he offers them a shitload of money. And what do they say? All right, well, you're paying us a lot of money and you're also not the uncle of the guy we killed, because if we let him win, he might want to get revenge on us, right? He might want to get revenge on us. So they say, all right, you're emperor. Nah, little bro, the other guy offered 40. Again, it doesn't matter how much he offered. They didn't want him because he was the uncle of the guy. He was the uncle of the guy. So they don't want him to get revenge on them, right? By like doing whatever. It is what it is, okay? You got to be careful. You got to, you got to think about, what could transpire down the road. You got to think about the long game, okay? It's not that, all right? So old dude is sitting on the chair. He's the emperor. He's doing good. He's having a great time for about 2 months. Then he has one big fucking problem. Anybody want to know what his big problem was? He didn't have the money to pay. Remember how I told you that the Praetorian Guard, who was like the inner guard of the emperor and all that shit like that, was pay to play, and they literally murdered somebody else, and they basically auctioned off the emperor, the role of emperor for the entire Roman Empire during this crazy time of the year of the 5 emperors? Yeah, so he didn't really have enough money to pay. He was just trying to do what he could. So the Senate and everybody else was really upset that this guy was like not elected. He bought his seat. So he didn't have any fucking allies in the Senate. He had no fucking allies there of people that could help him out. And he didn't have any money to pay these guys. Well, guess what happens? Yeah, they fucking kill him. So now Diddy is now dead. Dude gets wiped out. They take his ass out. They kill him. They hunt him down. They chop his head off. Dude's game over. Well, here's the problem. Now the Praetorian Guard has killed the last 2 emperors, and nobody wants to be involved now. So they've got a problem. They have an empty emperor's seat, but nobody to take it, because nobody wants to be with them, right? Like they're like, oh shit, what if these guys don't like something I do? I don't want to get fucking wiped out. So now there is a power vacuum again. And it ended up taking a massive legion, the ones that were in across the Danube. Danubian? It's based on they were patrolling the Danube. The Danubian Legion, okay, comes in, and their general is like, nah, we got to put a stop to this. So they go into the city, but this general, okay, it's Sepsis, what's his name? Septius? God, I'm not good with these fucking names. I need to look this shit up before I do this. Whatever. So this general comes in, right? He comes in and he tricks the Praetorian Guard. And he tells them, we want to do a parade. Like, we're this big legion and you guys are in charge. We'd love to see a parade. He's the big general, so he's kind of like default the power guy right now. And he says, we want to see a military parade to see it. He convinces them to do a military parade without any weapons. Convinces them to do it. And then what happens? Surrounds them, banishes them, kills the ones that were involved in the murders, and says, you were banned from Rome for 100 years. If you come back, you are going to die. And so that money and that greed ended up not only leading to the rich guy getting fucking killed, eat the rich, right? The Praswood, but then they're gone too. They're gone. Eventually, the new Praetorian Guard with the new emperor was established, but eventually they ended up getting rid of him. How does this tie into capitalism, though? That's literally a rich guy bought his way to the top. It's literally capitalism. Money talks. And he used debt to finance it, but he overstepped his boundary. And it backfired on him because he wasn't as rich as he really claimed. And then the people that got tired of his bullshit and that were, whatever, killed him. It also led to a revolt there. This is like, motherfucker, this is not for you who are a staunch defender of capitalism. I was throwing a bone to the people who are the vast majority of Twitch viewers who are anti-capitalism, who can be like, fucking rich guy got fucking owned. Thought he could, that's what he deserves. That's what happens when you do this. I just thought this was a cool piece of history. This is literally capitalism in the micro scale that blew up in this guy's face. Instead of using his money to buy his way to the top, like you would think billionaires and very wealthy people do, they use their money and influence to take, that they got through either through debt or through exploitation of other people, and it being a success story of how they ended up growing a business and owning the world. This is a case where it blew up in his face and he got fucking taken out. And I just thought it was cool. If you don't, I'm just going to stop doing my whiteboards. Y'all don't like my whiteboards, my history whiteboards. I thought that was a fun little piece of history. How many of y'all knew about that fucking piece of Roman history? About how there was a emperor that died, that his successor got killed, and then his close guard auctioned off the actual emperor role. Then there was an auction to do it. Two rich guys did it. One of them was the uncle of the guy they killed. They didn't want him in, so they let the other guy get it. He gets the throne. 66 days later, there's a revolt by the people and the Senate, and they turn out that he doesn't even have enough money. So the guard turns around and kills him, and then the guard is now left without. Nobody wants the position anymore, so now they're stuck, and some fucking general comes in with his army, convinces them to disarm, do a military parade, tricks them, surrounds them, kills the people who did the killing, and then bans them and says, if you come within 100 miles of Rome, you're going to be fucking dead. And then we move on to the next emperor in the year of the 5 emperors. I just thought that was a cool piece of history and tied it in with capitalism going wrong. And people that love the whole eat the rich people thing would enjoy that. That's my bad. I thought that was a cool little piece of history.